The air is already shimmering with heat when you follow the linen bearers inland, away from the glittering river. Their baskets swing in rhythm, stacked with damp cloth that smells faintly of reeds, natron, and sunshine. You trail behind, half-dazed, the soles of your feet sticking to the baked mud path. The hum of cicadas grows louder, like 1,000 invisible looms buzzing in your ears. Up ahead, you see what looks like a cluster of low, open courtyards. This is the laundry of the living gods, temple property, technically, though most of the work happens outdoors. Here, servants wash, rinse, and whiten the linens used to clothe statues of deities and to wrap offerings before they enter the sanctuaries. Every piece must gleam like moonlight, because, as one priest explains with unnerving seriousness, a wrinkled cloth offends the eye of Ra. You can't argue with the sun god, so you nod respectfully. The workers lay out the damp linen on smooth limestone slabs, pale against pale. A young woman pours more natron solution from a jar, careful not to spill. It's precious stuff, scraped from the salt flats near Wadi Nat Run, where entire caravans once journeyed just to collect the chalky crystals. The mixture bubbles faintly, releasing a soft hiss. You imagine it's whispering approval. Someone passes around handfuls of soapwort root, an old Egyptian cleaning trick that even modern herbalists would admire. They crush it in wooden bowls until it forms a faint froth. You help lather a piece of cloth, and the foam feels oddly silky, leaving your fingers slippery. For a moment, it's easy to forget that 3,000 years separate you from this moment. Nearby, a pair of boys stomp on linen bundles inside shallow basins, turning laundry into an impromptu dance. Their laughter carries across the courtyard, echoing off stone walls. An older woman calls out something sharp in Egyptian that probably translates to "careful with that, it's for the gods." You smile. It seems divine fabric still attracts human clumsiness. One man, perhaps the foreman, supervises the process with the solemnity of a high priest. He checks each cloth against the sunlight, judging brightness by eye. You can tell he's proud. In a world before bleach and dryers, keeping anything white was an act of devotion. Historians still argue whether temple laundries like this were specialized guilds or extensions of household labor. Some point to records showing female weavers under royal protection. Others note male artisans listed on payrolls for sacred washing. Either way, the people here treat linen as a living thing, washed, sun-fed, and honored. There's a small shrine tucked into the corner, its painted walls faded but still visible, the goddess Neith, bow in one hand, shuttle in the other. She watches over the weavers and washers, her painted eyes half-lidded, as if perpetually sleepy. Someone has left a few lotus petals at her feet, along with what looks suspiciously like a half-burned candle. Even ancient workers, it seems, understood the importance of mood lighting. As the morning drifts toward noon, the sounds around you form a kind of accidental symphony. Sloshing water, rhythmic slapping of cloth on stone, murmured gossip, and the occasional squawk of a jealous ibis. You catch snippets of conversation. One woman is complaining about her husband's sandals. Apparently he refuses to replace them even though the straps have broken 3 festivals ago. Another boasts about her cousin who works in the linen house of the royal palace. They use almond oil there, she says proudly, for shine. You realize this laundry isn't just a workplace. It's a social hub, a rumor exchange, and probably a support group rolled into one. You could call it the world's first water cooler chat, minus the air conditioning. As the linen dries on the stones, workers begin to sprinkle fine desert sand across the surface. It helps draw out moisture evenly, prevents spotting, and, when brushed off later, leaves a faint polish. You run your fingers through the sand. It's hot, almost silky, slipping through your hand like warm flour. You imagine someone, centuries later, rediscovering this technique and calling it exfoliation. A child toddles by carrying a miniature jar of natron and nearly drops it. A chorus of adults groans in unison. You can't help but laugh. The child beams as if supervising the entire operation. Perhaps they'll grow up to become the next overseer of sacred laundry. Everyone starts somewhere. The air thickens as the sun climbs higher. The workers retreat briefly to the shade of reed mats, sipping cool water from clay jars. The sound of swallowing is oddly satisfying, the universal sigh of people who know there's still hours of work left but no hurry to rush. One woman passes you a piece of flatbread, surprisingly soft and fragrant. You bite into it, grateful. She gestures toward the linen with her chin. "Soon, we polish," she says, her voice flat but kind. The gods notice dullness, too. You nod, solemn, as though this is breaking news. There's a certain tranquility here, beneath the sweat and chatter. Every task is small, repetitive, and strangely soothing, like embroidery for the soul. You think about your own rushed world, where machines hum and timers beep. These people lived in a rhythm dictated by heat, humidity, and the patience of sunlight. Maybe that's why their work endures. It's literally baked into the day. You find yourself leaning against the limestone, half dozing as a lazy breeze rolls through. The smell of clean fabric and warmed natron fills your lungs. You can almost hear time stretching thin, elastic, like the threads drying nearby. Then someone nudges you. It's time for the pressing stage, the magic trick that made Egyptian linen so perfectly smooth long before the word iron meant anything but metal from a sky. You rub your eyes, shake off the drowsiness, and follow the group toward another courtyard where polished stones and mysterious jars wait in the sun. One of the men grins at you. "Ready to make the cloth sing?" he asks. You don't know what he means yet, but the tone suggests that what's about to happen will be equal parts art and absurd patience. The workers gather, taking up smooth oval stones, gleaming like river pebbles rubbed flat by time. The linen is damp, the air heavy, and everything smells faintly of effort and eternity. Before you can ask a single question, a woman begins to hum again, the same slow rhythm as before, but now steadier, almost hypnotic. You realize it's the pulse of the work itself, the tempo of a civilization pressing its wrinkles from history.